afternoon. Hope everything is going well in your world. I've had quite the day. It's been busy nonstop from the start, and so here again, hoping to provide some info, some stuff you might not see on other media channels. We're going to go live from the Parkway encampment with a citizen journalist, Chris, who helps us out quite frequently. We're also going to go live from the other encampment. Probably going to have Chris go between the two. Unfortunately, that's the way we're going to need to do it. I need additional citizen journalists to help. If you are interested in helping get information out there about this or any other newsworthy event, and you're interested in being a citizen journalist, all you really need is a smartphone and the ability to run Zoom, and to get in touch with me. I will happily have you on and display your video to the world and have you provide you a platform for your commentary and your voice. A few moments ago, I was updated from my contacts within the organizational side of the PHA folks, and they said that they were off duty and leaving the main meeting, which was still going on as of 1:30, and WHYY was still covering it, but not no other news organizations were left. Unfortunately, when we couldn't gain access to the meeting, we had no choice but to leave and take a break as well. I believe this is supposed to say 3:30-ish, but I may be incorrect. At any rate, to my knowledge, the meeting between the mayor's office and the organizers of the encampments is still ongoing. And Chris is on scene and says that there are still news outlets at the encampment on the Parkway, and he's going to join them and see if he can't provide us some live footage. I'm going to join this meeting from my cell phone, which will just take a moment. Just to recap, the reason why we're doing this broadcast is because the Philadelphia Housing Authority threatened to evict the two encampments that have organically formed been organically formed by the members of the unhoused community in Philadelphia, and those folks are making some demands, and really their primary demand is that they have housing available before they depart their current location. And in the opinion of myself and several other housing advocates, folks who do this kind of work all the time, that seems like a reasonable demand. There's no reason why the Kenney administration should really be concerned about this housing, this housing action, which is what it is. It's a protest, in addition to a place for people to gather and live. There's no reason why they should break up this housing action. That opinion is supported by the Centers for Disease Control, supported by other housing advocacy groups nationwide, supported by every piece of evidence that we can find. Just leave the encampment in place until we have a solution to the housing crisis that those people are facing. So, this is going to be a relatively short broadcast. I just want to get Chris on board and have him offer some live footage from the encampment as it exists right now. And we're going to tell you a little story of the other encampment, and then I'll have to hop off in about a half hour so that we can continue to do our work on other things that involve housing. So we're trying to get folks to remain in their housing, even though we're facing the greatest economic downturn probably ever. Some folks say since the Great Depression. I would say that this is actually worse than the Great Depression. It's just not affected us the same way because we learned our lessons in during the Great Depression, and we managed to make it so that it wasn't so bad. Hang on a second. Let me switch this all around so that you can see Chris and you can see me. Great. Hey, Chris. Your audio isn't on for some reason. Might be me. Nope. I should be able to hear your audio. Yeah, you're muted, bud.
Sorry, how's that?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, yeah, the only major development that I've seen that's different is it looks like the sort of, I guess, patrol around the outside has there's not people out here with the anti-riot shields or whatever, and someone has blocked the outside lanes of the parkway here with bike rack. I'm going to assume that wasn't the city. I'm going to assume it was the encampment. I don't know for what purpose. Maybe it was the city. I don't know. But it doesn't look like something the city would have done. I think they would have done something with cones or something to that effect. But yeah, looking around the encampment, generally, everyone just seems to be hanging out. It seems like tensions are a little bit lower. So I don't know if something came about in the discussions that led people to believe that, things have stabilized for the time being, or maybe just the fact that there are discussions. But I'm just going to do a mosey around, see if there's anything really super noteworthy to talk about. Sorry, there's a generator running right here. Sorry for the noise.
We can't actually hear it. It sounds fine to us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I don't know if the generator's out here too. There's a gentleman out here barbecuing. I don't know if he's associated with the encampment or not. But yeah, the outside lanes of the parkway are closed down at the moment. Yeah, things are pretty peaceful, it seems, here for the time being. Definitely a lot less presence from, I guess, counter riot police, I guess we can call them. I don't know what the best term for that would be, but
I think they would take issue with being called any sort of police, but I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I want to associate them with the terrorist group Antifa. So.
Yeah, they're not Antifa, and Antifa
right.
aren't terrorists. But yeah, just to be clear, for folks
they're
watching,
not police, yeah.
we don't believe Antifa are terrorists. Chris was being facetious.
Yes, that's also, sorry, that was a joke. Just to clarify.
You got to be careful, you know. Like you go out on broadcast, folks don't necessarily know your sense of humor.
Sure, and people will definitely take things out of context. So
yeah,
that's a good point to clarify that. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying not. I don't want to get too close. You know, out of respect for individual privacy. So it's going to take some distance shots here. Some of the barricades that were set up this morning appear to, they haven't been, you know, disassembled per se, but it's a little less fortified. So I get the sense that, you know, the encampment doesn't feel immediately threatened for the time being. And again, I don't know whether that's because the organizers have received information via the meeting that they were having with city officials this morning that indicated that, you know, there wasn't an imminent threat of eviction, or whether it's just a matter of, you know, they said 9 a.m. and nothing's happened since then, so people are maybe letting their guard down a little bit. You know, hopefully more information comes out with that. But, you know, some of the, I guess what we'll call them makeshift fortifications are still in place. But I do want to make clear for anybody watching this that no public walkways are really obstructed, with the exception of one by a playground that you're not really supposed to be using right now anyway. You'll see that here. It's not really obstructed. You could easily walk around this bike rack. So, yeah, I mean, all this goes to say, you know, no real hindrance at all to community if you want to come here and use the park, that type of thing. Sorry, sir. Sorry, just trying to avoid filming any individuals. Got kind of crossed in front of my camera feed. Yeah, the pallet walls that were set up, I don't know whether they've been there for a while or whether they were something that was set up this morning or last night. But those are still here, as you can see. Again, not really obstructing anybody's use of the public walkways. Again, like we were talking about earlier, since there's not the presence of the, I guess, we'll call it the allies. How about that? The allies of the encampment. They're not out here standing guard anymore. So I just want to illustrate here, baseball diamond, completely unrestricted in any way. You know, if for whatever reason they decided they wanted to have a little league baseball game here, if somebody wanted to have a, you know, company softball game here, free to use. Totally not in anybody's way. You keep moseying along around the outside here. I don't want to penetrate the perimeter over their barricades because that might be viewed as threatening. So I'm gonna take the long way around the outside of the baseball diamond here.
And once you're done your perimeter walk, I need to hop off. I said to the folks watching that this was going to be a relatively short one. I need to hop off at 4:30. I don't know that you'd be able to make it to the other site, but do you know how to share pictures from your cell phone?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Like you know that you can screen share and you can, so
Yes.
we'll if you can find a good spot to stand or sit, and we'll tell that story about the other encampment from.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that right now if you like.
Sure. Let me make you co-host so that you can share your screen. And I'll go off until you're. I'll go off your video until you're ready. So yeah, you're clear. Just go ahead and share your screen and.
So After our broadcast this morning, for anybody who was there, I went over to the Ridge Avenue encampment to kind of look and see um, sort of what was going on there. Is that showing up on the screen there, James?
Yes. Sorry,
Okay.
it's really small. Let me see if I can zoom in.
Yeah, I mean, I may be restricted. Did rotating my phone help at all?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I just got to make sure that it displays in the correct orientation then.
Great. Hang
Yeah,
on a second. Let me go to your picture. All right, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So what you're seeing there, we had gotten word this morning that there was temporary fencing being set up. This actually appears to be permanent fencing, not temporary fencing, and it appears as though it's been there for a little while. So I'm not sure what that tip was or whether it was just
No,
slightly.
this is new. This is actually the new fencing that they did. The video that we had from this morning was actually of them putting up this fencing.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Just because the baling wire that they used to hang the signs was already rusted, so and it looked like they were dug into the ground. It didn't look like temporary fencing, but I've been wrong about things before. But yeah, at any rate, the point I want to illustrate here, and I'm going to show a couple more pictures as I talk about it, is that get another one up for you. So they not only put this temporary fencing up, all around the lot that the encampment's in, but then they went on ahead and they hung all of these banners on it. And as I get through some of these pictures, you'll see really what it is they're kind of displaying pictures of all of the properties that the PHA has or is working on or ongoing projects that they're not letting people live in. So, imagine the utter cruelty of you have an encampment of people that they're pleading that, their voices be heard, that they be given somewhere safe to rest their head and, to maintain their hygiene, brush their teeth, shower, all of that good stuff, cook their own meals. And imagine being an organization where you set up a fence around them, and then on that fence, you hang pictures of the properties you're not letting them use. And then even this eviction notice, which this is why I say I don't think that it was necessarily that, at least what I took pictures of was not new, because this is dated all the way back to July, I think, when the original eviction notice had been posted. But they even went ahead and posted an eviction notice on that. And then the only picture that I took of the only two pictures I took of the actual encampment were this one, which was sort of their counter banner. It's a black background, and it is sort of co-opting their style and their imagery to get their point across. But if you look, it reads, sorry, let me reorient my phone for you here. It looks opening doors to gentrification and displacement. So, kind of turning their messaging on its head and pointing it back at them to illustrate the hypocrisy that they're displaying by putting up these barricades and these fences and these banners. And then the other picture that I felt would really, again, to drive the point home here, this one is probably not oriented well for the audience, but and it's probably very difficult to read, but the fact that the messaging on it is so faded really drove home the point to me. This is the demands that were posted outside of the Ridge Avenue encampment. And there's 5 demands on there. They're not very legible because they've been out in the weather and they've aged so much. But that really illustrates that the goalposts have not been moved. The demands have not been shifted. The demands have been consistent, and they have been for a long time, as you can clearly see from, the effects of time on the demands that they've had posted. Like there's no clearer evidence to me that Kennedy's narrative that the organizers of the encampment have been shifting the goalposts or changing changing what their terms or demands are throughout the course of negotiations. It's posted right there. If he wants to come down and see what the demands are and have them clearly laid out for him, they're right there for him to read.
Yep, that they are. Yeah. It's quite an interesting...
So, just continuing around the encampment here, more sort of makeshift barricades for security. Again, nothing that would stop anybody from using the public spaces that aren't in use right now anyway, just to clarify. And I'm sure if somebody wanted to have a Little League game here and they felt a certain type of way about those barricades being there, I'm sure the community would be agreeable to maybe moving them out of the way while the fields were in use, something like that. I can't speak for them, but I assume that wouldn't be too big of an ask. Again, batting cages right here, unobstructed. There's a tent that's adjacent to them, but nothing stopping anybody from using the facility. Over here, the tents are a little bit closer to the field, but if you look at the fields aren't really being maintained because they're not being used anyhow. But again, it really, nothing about the encampment is in any way encumbering the use of the space for the public.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, the fencing that you saw set up at the Parkway, we did have video of from Nadera Hood from this morning with folks hanging the fencing. I don't know why the part that you saw was had some rusted bits. I don't know that rust happens that fast. I just have no idea. What did I couldn't read what that chalk said.
Oh, it says, "Hell no, we won't go." It's written in chalk on the sidewalk. But yeah, I mean, there's not really, nobody's damaging any of the property or the park or anything like that. There's signs and things. Like here, actually, I'll go back over to the cages here. So
could you shake your phone? Could you shake your phone, Chris?
I'm sorry?
Your phone won't change orientation. Could you just check the orientation of your phone? There you go.
There we go. Sorry. So yeah, you see here, there's like some kind of ribbons hanging from the cage. It used to say housing now, apparently, but over time it's kind of gotten a little bit raggedy. Yeah, point being, any of the signs, anything like that have been put up, nothing. It's not like there's people out here tagging things. It's not, there's nobody vandalizing anything. It's literally, it's just people camping because this is the safest option for them. And, like we were discussing earlier, with homeless encampments, the WHO and CDC, they recommend displacing them, not separating them, because it makes it more difficult for them to access care. It makes, if you're worried about the public health concerns, it makes them spread out throughout the community instead of being focused in one place where, we are also talking about how there's been testing going on and all kinds of other good stuff like that.
Yeah, health issues can be addressed when everybody's gathered in a place. Folks can get tested. They can know who they're exposed to. They can basically create a pod of people, which is what is recommended even for people who are at home. So yeah, it's much safer for everybody that these encampments, these two encampments exist, rather than trying to force people out of a methodology they've found to service themselves, provide services for themselves that they should be getting through the PHA, but that the PHA is neither providing nor are they trusted by the residents of the encampments to provide.
Yeah, and in addition to that, so the gentleman that I interviewed earlier today over at the Methodist Church, that was his first time going to the church to get a shower, and he said that he had heard about it from a friend. So even just in the simple fact of like, you know, having somewhere to go where people are aware of resources and they can direct people to resources like that. You know, people in this encampment community, you know, they may not know that United Methodist Church on Broad and Arch is offering that service to members of the homeless community. And you know, by having this community here, you have a network where people can get informed about stuff like that and possibly other helpful services, you know, like we said, the testing, all that good stuff. So, you know, it really does feel as an observer that it would be a huge detriment to not just this community, but the community at large, for this to be disbanded.
Definitely. Yeah. And I've been
And for anybody else that's wondering, if you want to contribute financially, I just noticed this. You want to contribute financially to the encampment for them to be able to, you know, purchase whatever resources that they need. There's actually a donation table. It's on 22nd Street. If you go to the encampment, 22nd of the Parkway. If you walk up 22nd, about a half a block, it's basically between the Parkway and I believe Spring Garden Street on 22nd. And there's a big sign that says donate. So if you're watching and you want to contribute, you want to help out, that's a good way to do it. Whenever I sign off from here, I'm probably going to go over and see what little money I have in my wallet right now, and maybe throw a couple bucks towards the cause. I definitely encourage anybody else watching that wants to help out to do the same.
And I'm also going to post in all of the chats a link, not a link necessarily, but one of the organizers has shared their Venmo or one of the
one of the pay apps, right?
Yeah, Paul has released one of his Venmo accounts. And I will paste that in all of the chats so that everybody can, if they so choose, donate to the encampments. Paul is a very trusted organizer, and he goes by they go by they pronouns, and they are very entrusted amongst the community, and often organize to get supplies for the community that the community has asked for. As I said before, it's really much more helpful if people have goods, or if they have money, or if they want to donate anything of importance, that they ask first at the community. The both encampments have reception tents where an organizer can direct you to where to drop off your donation. Before you spend your time doing that, if you comment on any of these live streams and you want to get in touch with the organizers to find out where you can donate stuff or what stuff is being asked for by the community, I can also point you in the right direction. So, but if you'd like to donate money via Venmo at Paul I. Reese, Reese. And if you'd like to donate goods, I can get you in touch with the folks that are organizing goods for the encampment, and get you a list of things that they're asking for, as well as so that you don't just drop off a bunch of stuff that folks can't use. Anything else going on over there on the Parkway, Chris?
I mean, nothing really noteworthy. Like I said, it seems like, tensions have kind of eased. Most of the protesters or allies have kind of gone home, and it seems to be mostly just the residents in the encampment. And again, everybody is just, peacefully going about their lives, not bothering a soul. Yeah, that, like that, and that's the story. Is that when the city's not involved, there is no news here. It's just people trying to get. Well, it's not that there's no news here, but the news is this is people trying to get a safe place to live, and right now this is their safest option. And taking that away from them, we already talked about the all of the detrimental effects that would have at the community at large and on these people. So I won't hammer that point home too much more. But yeah, like it's totally peaceful environment, totally friendly environment. Nobody's. I'm very clearly at this point, commenting and filming myself, and nobody's bothering me about it. They even when I was pointing the camera at residents earlier, I was politely asked to stop filming, and that's about it. That seems to be about the only thing that they really will bother even requesting of you, is that you just not film or photograph them, and that's obviously totally reasonable. But yeah, if there's nothing else here you want me to see, I could head over to Ridge. I know you said you had to hop off around 4:30. It's about 4:30 now, so I don't know if you want to call it for the day or.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up the broadcast here. Yeah, if you personally want to head by Ridge.
Yeah, I was gonna head over to Ridge just to scope
anything.
things out, make sure the situation's still stable over there as well. If anything is, if anything major is going on, I'll let you know via text message or a phone call, and we can hop back on. But yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it for today. Yeah.
All right, and thank you, Chris. Really appreciate your help and your work. I can't be in like so many places at once, so sometimes it's a little tough to get this coverage done, and I couldn't do it without citizen journalists like Chris. Couldn't do it without some of the many advantages that I have living in the United States, in Philadelphia. But I appreciate the work that Chris is doing. I appreciate the work that all the organizers are doing. I appreciate the work that the homeless are doing in order to advocate for themselves. And I hope that the city continues to negotiate with folks directly. There's no reason not to. And I just want to let the city know, we citizens are out here, and we will be on scene anytime that you threaten the safety and health and welfare of our fellow citizens. We will bear witness to it. We will attempt to stop it, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure that our brothers and sisters are well taken care of. There's no reason in 2020 that with the glut of housing that is on the market in Philadelphia, with the glut of housing that the PHA owns and is letting go to waste, with the glut of housing that is available for low or no cost, with the glut of housing that is on the city's inventory of foreclosed and city-owned properties, that we have there shouldn't even be a homeless problem in the city of Philadelphia. It's ridiculous that it even exists. But the folks that are unhomed have some very specific demands. They want housing. They want it now, and I, for one, can appreciate and understand that call, and I echo that call. I think that they should get housing, and I think that they should get it now. There's no reason that they shouldn't have it. So with that, I'm gonna wrap up the broadcast. Anytime that there's something happening out here in Philadelphia, and we need to put eyes on it, we will. We're an independent journalism organization. I'm an independent production company. I don't answer to advertisers. I answer to myself, and so that's what we do. We support causes that we believe in, and um, if you can get behind that, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, on Facebook, whatever. Mob Crush, Twitch, Periscope if you want Twitter notifications, and they're all under the brand Light Thief Productions. And really appreciate you tuning in and checking out what we have to say. So thanks, and have